I am here with Alex for the first time in a long time to discuss the Big Brother 25 fiasco of feeds. Every day I have to get on and try and catch up because I have a life, and they spiral 24/7. It's hard to keep up. You miss like 2 hours and you miss a lot. So,
Yeah. What is
Alex,
it? 6 hours ago, it was fine.
yeah, I know. Would you like to explain today's events? What you saw?
So, from my understanding, it's all Jared's fault, and I know that you have been a fan of Jared in the past few days, maybe.
Bad.
But it is his fault. So when when Ciries and Felicia are in the kayak together, right? That precious 48 hours, Jared has done a lot. Done a lot of, and maybe he's in a bad mood, like Corey says. But he is constantly like he went along with Cam doing the whole veto, scaring Jag, scaring everybody, and then he's like actively distancing from Corey, making him sketched out. When Corey knows so much about him, so much about his gameplay. And so Jared has kind of unraveled a lot of what Ciries has been building every single week. And unfortunately, now everyone's catching on, and Corey dropped the 7 deadly sins to Jag and Matt, rounded up Mimi, Bowie. All the pieces just fell together, and now the people who are on the bottom are surprisingly Jared, Ciries, and Blue, and Felicia technically.
I mean, let's not get it too twisted, though. I feel like as much as I don't want her to go, Izzy did a lot of damage to her own game this week as well. Today,
Yes.
telling Corey, just continuing to go to Corey about America, and Corey just wants to, continue his dry humping, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, both Izzy and Felicia did not do so well when they're on the block. They didn't. I mean, it was kind of boring watching them. Like, it didn't make any sense. This week is really about the ones who aren't on the block whatsoever. Like, the ones who have no power or on the block, they're the ones who've been working the hardest. So it's really interesting because we might finally see some players play. Bowie Jane, Mimi, America, Jag. Like people are like making sense.
Jag's been playing, just not very good.
Jag's been playing, but like on a different multiverse. Like Jag hasn't had a single like correct read or like understanding, just like Blue. But Blue was doing well in terms of like kissing the right side's ass, and now it's kind of, when you don't have, when you're people like Blue and Jag, it's not the most beneficial either way. I think this flip benefits Mimi and Matt the most. So I'm really excited to see them two gain even more power. It was never about Jag or Blue ever, even Bowie Jane. Like, it's not really about them because they're almost non-factors in the end game. But right now it looks like there's a bigger chance that Mimi or Matt wins this game. So
yeah, Mimi in particular is definitely good either way this week goes, because I feel like there's so many targets on so many other people that Mimi should slip through the cracks. Like, who wants to target Mimi in the next few weeks?
It's not just that. It's also like Mimi is the only one who was like, well, no matter what, I still want to vote for Felicia to stay. Or like, people are understanding of where she's at. So even if this happened, she's not a part of this huge coalition to get rid of Izzy. If anything, she is now the true middle because everyone's going to need her for next week. So it depends on how she plays this, but I was really excited to see Corey pitch this to her, and then she's like, really receptive to it. But then when she talks to Ciries, nothing gets out. So Mimi is, I think, understanding that this is one of the best opportunities for her.
Let's circle back to Izzy because we're going to go through the players, I suppose, now, like we used to do. It's been a few weeks since we've talked, so many things have happened. But we'll start with Izzy, who is on the block. Her going this week, which is looking likely now, is so hard for me because she's the
best.
Only reason I watch feeds, to be honest, because everybody else kind of bores me or gets on my nerves. So it's going to be hard going forward losing Izzy this soon.
I absolutely agree. I think Izzy is, And it sucks because she's not really in the show too much
Which
either.
annoys me as well. Like, you don't even put her personality out
She
there.
is the main character. Like Ciries and Jared, they're main characters because Ciries has been on Survivor, but Izzy is on everyone's minds constantly. She's always the one who flips out about things. She's always the one who is like really, really entertaining. And so it sucks to see her go. I was, thinking about this when Felicia and Izzy were first nominated. I was like, maybe the most entertaining option is Cirie going, because although I love Cirie, but like both Izzy and Felicia are insanely chaotic. And also, it really does change the game if Cirie goes home this week. So that was kind of my thought process, and I think Izzy was on the bottom of like who I wanted to go home the least, And it sucks that she is going home, but it was very fascinating watching the feeds today. Like, it was very fun to see people who typically have the worst reads finally understand what's been going on in this house.
How about Felicia? The one thing about this flip is that it opens up the game a lot more. And Felicia is someone who is like, I think it's not as good as Mimi, but like, is she really going to have this big target in the next few weeks as well?
It's really crazy because I mean, Felicia was the only HOH that had no like issues of like continuing on, and I thought the curse was continuing with this week, and I was like, oh, Felicia's gone. But after this week, Felicia is probably safest with Mimi. Um, I think the most in danger, like Felicia's probably second least most. Like, she's really, really safe. Um, in my opinion, I really do think that Felicia has a better relationship with Cirie and Jared, um, but also has a less relationship with the other side. So Mimi and Felicia are kind of, I think Mimi's more important right now, but Felicia's not someone who is going to be wasted on ever again until like the very end, maybe.
Yeah,
But
you would think so. I mean, in theory, especially the next few weeks, because like clearly the target's probably going to shift on to Jared, even though I don't know if Jared's going to go home. If it's Jared and Suri on the block, I think Suri would try and sacrifice herself. But nonetheless, I don't think it's going to be Felicia.
it's not going to be Felicia. And then if one of Jared and Cirie go home, why would it be Felicia again? I mean, it might be Felicia on the block, but I really do think like they might just continue either picking off Cam or picking off the rest of the like Cirie/Jared power structure there. So I don't know. I mean, my only thing about Felicia is where does she go from here? She doesn't have the relationship that now Mimi has with the other side. Um, that's the only thing. But I mean, it might not be a bad thing to be a lone wolf towards the end game here. Um, this huge alliance of 7 or 6, whatever, that's going to crumble too. I believe everyone talks way too much. So
I mean, that is something that gets on my nerves. Like they always want to, like they expose all these alliances today because there's 75 fake alliances in the house, and their idea is let's create another big alliance. Like, why? Why can't players like just play more? I don't even know why, but kind of like how you all did on Little Brother. Like the first few weeks, yeah, there's a ton of different alliances because I think that just happens in Big Brother. But like, play your own games after that.
it's because people are so scared and paranoid that like if you don't make this solid like big group meetup, that it's not going to be legit. Like if you have like for Little Brother, we did it through the grapevine, and we had to trust that that person understood that person's dynamic and like understands that this person has your back. Whereas here, when you're in the house together and everyone's changing their minds 24/7, you need that solid grouping together to be like, this is solid. Like Jag said it a lot of times, but he's like, this feels like it's actually going to happen. Like you could have made things happen before, but it's because you couldn't get into these big group settings. Same with Matt. Matt wanted to meet with every single person, like just to get that in together. It's really about being scared, and that's why it's hard to play an individualistic game. Um,
I mean, yeah, I guess in this season where everybody just tells everyone everything, although I feel like that could also make it easier as well.
yeah. Well, that's why I feel like the ones who are very like selfish players are doing well. They are doing well. It's the ones who are like they want to stick to a group like Bowie Jane. They want to be loyal. Like Jag, whatever. They're so stagnant. They just stay there, and they don't make new connections, and that's why they get picked off or they get blindsided by the vote or something. It's just you have to play very selfishly, even though you kind of have to use the jargon of like this big group is now together. You still have to think of it like Corey is doing right now. He's kind of still like he's doing it a little too much with the lying on the other side, but he is still trying to like keep that facade up really, really well or whatever. Plus, Corey does benefit from this a lot. Like, they will need him as well.
I don't know if I agree with that, but we'll wait until we get to Corey.
Okay.
How about Chaos Cameron, who's, created this entire week in the first place?
I hate this. I hate having to perceive Cam in any sense because I hate him in on 1 week, love his moves on another week, scratching my head on the next one. Like, he's so confusing as a player. He like has really good reads sometimes, but then he gets so cocky that he doesn't listen to any other information.
It's true.
And he's not, when he talks to people, he talks at people. He's not listening. He's not making them feel like they're being heard. Cam is not the greatest player. I will say he is resilient, and he is probably in the better half of this cast right now. But he's still, to me, not a great player. He's not a great social player.
I don't know if I agree anymore, because here's how I see players. There's like 3 things. You have social game, which is terrible. But then you have strategy and you have competitions. And obviously Cam's good at competition, so he has
competition's great.
Strategically, anytime he creates chaos, he thrives in it. So I don't think he's actually that bad strategically. I don't know if there's anybody on this cast has 2 out of 3, to be honest, except for Cameron.
Yeah, that is accurate. But I will say his strategy is 50-50. Like, yes, he's created chaos, but he's not purposefully understanding what he's doing. Like, I think he's tripping and falling into the right move sometimes. Like, for instance, I understand the whole Izzy and Felicia are like Ciries henchmen, whatever, but why were you so certain that Izzy would go in a scenario with Izzy and Felicia? It doesn't make sense. The only reason why it happened wasn't because of Cam, though. You know what I'm saying? So I think his strategy is half there, or like at least 6.
I feel like Cam played a big part today in it happening, actually.
He did. He sets.
He's the person that told Felicia, which kind of set the ball in motion.
Yeah. But I don't think of it. I don't think of him as someone who's like very purposefully doing it. Like he's going.
I think it's purposeful.
I don't know. We'll see.
A lot of it's like I want to get revenge on people. Yeah, which is still why I think his social game sucks. But I still think strategically, he might not have a good read socially on the board all the time. But still, if he can create chaos, he seems to thrive. And I don't think, he can easily still be a target.
Yeah.
But he could easily still not be a target these next few weeks because of the chaos.
I don't think he is in at least with the new majority. He's not at the moment. Maybe for Matt, but no one else really. What I will say is like he does remind me of my game in Little Brother a little bit. He is, on the block a lot. He is chaotic. But like again, like I just don't. He needs a little bit more social to like be able to execute even more. That's nitpicky because everyone else doesn't have 2 out of 3. But I think for Cam, he's been entertaining to watch. Like he is that cockroach right now that just keeps going. I really want to see him listen more and get the right reads and do even more better work with people. I think he really only has America and Corey in his corner at the moment, kind of. And that's not great.
If Izzy goes, I'm rooting for Cameron out of spite, I think. Because everybody hates Cameron, so I like to be the opposite.
Yeah. No, I'm interested in seeing what Cam does, if he can do anything. But my expectation is low. I have to say it's low.
He more so reminds me of Mike, not necessarily in Little games where, he eventually everybody hates him, but he also hates everybody else. And he's also good at falling back on competitions.
No, I agree.
How about Bowie Jane?
I am impressed by Bowie Jane, but it's only because the bar was so low. Like the bar was in hell. I didn't know she was there. She's not really a person until this week, and it's really nice to see that there's 12 players in the house and not 11. But Bowie Jane stumbled into a really great position. I also don't think she's someone that people will go after, which is great. She's still a very boring player to watch, um, and she's not. She's not. She's almost playing as if she's an NPC. She's not really playing like she has a selfish need to win this game. If that makes sense, you know. What I
She's
do,
boring.
I
She's boring.
would you say?
She's so boring.
Yes. What I do admire is that honesty is the theme this week, and her and Mimi, they're getting points because everyone's like, okay, well, at least someone's honest in this house, right? That's the only thing that I can say positively about her is that she stuck by her word. She didn't really blow up on the house as people really expected, and she is now a loyal number, and people trust her because of that.
But I feel like she never wants to make her own decisions, so I don't really
No, she
understand why
doesn't.
people trust her.
Well, they
Like even when
trust
they
her.
flat out ask her, "Who are you voting for this week?" I don't know yet.
She
Like
does
she
say she
never
goes
has
with the house.
an answer for anything.
She does say she goes with the house, but I think with the new group that she's in, they do trust her because if they tell her what to do, she'll do it. That's really what that means, and I think people are understanding that she does just follow the crowd, but she has a home now, so
How well we talked about it a little bit. But how about Mimi? She's definitely should be in a good spot after this week.
it would be insane if she gets herself out of that good spot next week. This is when I need to see Mimi play that politic. Well, what is it? Politician advisor. I think that's her position.
Yeah.
She should start doing that. She's in jury soon. She's in the middle. She needs to start cultivating her people. And I have a feeling it's a mixture of people in the Ciries side and a mixture of people on the Corey side. Um, and I think it's those two are like her people. And I think she can utilize that to get far, but I do think I want to see if she's able to carry Bowie Jane to the end because that is her winning ticket. If she can get there, I think Mimi is doing well this week, but I'm not going to say she had the most active part in getting herself in this middle position. She's just had good enough relationships with people that she is now in the best spot. But I don't think she actively put herself in the middle. I think.
I mean, I do think her lack of telling everybody everything like everybody else definitely plays a part.
Oh, it helps. It
Yeah.
absolutely helps. It's refreshing. People like her and Bowie Jane in different ways. It's refreshing to the house, and people can tell. Where Bowie Jane is like blind and like kind of just follows the crowd. Mimi isn't really a drama spreader. She's not starting anything. She's not. She's never in the center of a drama situation, and so it's easy to kind of be like, let's reel her in because she doesn't have anybody, even though she has everybody technically. So
Next up, America, who I've made clear I hate her because of I hate her stands who be wishing death on players in the game just because they're in the game. I mean, it's ridiculous. Actually, I hate her stands completely.
yeah, like I hate her fans as well, and I do recognize your position where if the roles were reversed, that man that America is like the age of she is right would be canceled immediately. So I do agree with that. I on a game level, she's fine. She's kind of stupid in a way. Like she kind of makes dumb mistakes, even though she really wants to do well. Like I know that she knows the game, and she does operate sometimes that she knows the game, but she also spreads the wrong information at the wrong time. She does not have the social capital to like be able to spread this stuff and have it stick. Um, and but I will say she is a competitor. She's also very resilient, and she is an active part of this entire thing happening. Um, and I have to give props because I didn't think she had it in her to actually execute it correctly. I mean, granted, she had help, but it's not like she didn't do anything or she did the wrong thing. She did do the right things this time, and she is going to continue being the house pariah of like, she said this or she started this, and she's always the fall guy for it. But I think it's fine now because she has people that she can fall back on with. But I will say she's always in a dangerous position because if Jared wins, it's very easy to put up America. Same with Ciries, same with Felicia, same with even like Matt or something, right? Like it's easy to do it. So I think America's doing really well this week, but it's only because she was doing really bad last week.
Yeah, I have to give her credit for continuing to push her agenda this week. I didn't think it would work, but
she's always been. She was one of the most vocal ones about wanting to do this, and she got her way this week. And she kind of did it. She kind of pushed Corey to do it. Like she kind of forced him to do it because she started doing the chaos that she is. Her and Cam were being very chaotic this week, and it's working. So I don't know.
Yeah, Corey's the next one who I just you said earlier that I think this benefits him, but I don't see how. Like, Izzy's his only ally other than America, his only real ally other than America.
I will say,
like, no, if we say that getting out Heisem was this terrible decision so early in the game and it was clearly it was him getting rid of Izzy right now, it just doesn't make sense to me.
It's a tiny bit different for me because Izzy, Jared, and Ciries are the top dogs, and Corey has been falling out of that. Izzy does trust him,
but not with Izzy.
Not with Izzy, and I agree. Like this is a really awkward situation with Corey because on one hand you're trying to get rid of that power dynamic, but the other hand it's Izzy, and that's the one that you trust the most in the three. But I think the way I don't know if you saw all of it today. I think it's one of the most impressive, like, kind of spin that he did. But he got Matt and Jag to really, really trust Corey because of what he's been spilling and what he's been, like, he's laying out his entire game plan and all the secrets that he knows to these two people. And it's all accurate information. So that both Jag and Matt are really trusting of Corey. So he has two new allies.
I'll believe it when I see it.
It's
been 6 hours.
Yes, but I do believe it, and I think that Bowie also because he is very active and he has the social capital that America and Cam both lack. Corey is the centerpiece to this new alliance. He got Mimi on board. He got Bowie Jane on board. He's really collecting these people together. The one thing I do see it being his downfall is him overplaying, and he's already doing that. The elaborate lies, the way he is really, really being the face of this new movement, where even though America and Cam are the ones who really, really got this ball rolling, Corey is the face of the new alliance because of everyone that he pulled in together at once. So I do see that being his issue. But
I don't buy it. I'm sorry. I just think that if Corey was actually doing such a good job today, he doesn't need to get rid of Izzy this week. Like, why? He could get rid of Felicia and still make this happen if he was actually doing so good social capital-wise. But instead, he's playing America's game is what he's doing.
That is true. I will say this benefits America more than Corey, but what I'm saying is if he's able to balance this out, he is the one with the most connections in that new alliance. And he actually, I really do believe at least Jag, maybe not Matt. Matt is a lot more deceitful, but Jag is definitely trusting Corey a lot this time.
I think Jag is trusting America more than Corey.
Well, yeah, but Corey is looped in. He didn't trust Corey as much beforehand. So, whereas,
but I think it still benefits America more than it benefits Corey.
No, but the thing is, Corey is already a sinking ship prior to this. He had Izzy, but he did not have anyone else besides America. And so now there is still there's Mimi trusts him with the whole what is it? Writers, I forget what the name is. There's a new alliance with him too. I believe that she is into it. Jag, I think, is into him. Matt, don't know for sure. Bowie Jane, don't know for sure. But I think his spot has improved.
We'll see in the coming.
We will see.
How about who the hell is left? Matt.
He's probably the winner of the season. On the off chance that Ciries doesn't make it and Jared doesn't make it, Matt, I think, has the best chance to win. with all the lies that he's said, or like with all the connections that he's built, he is somehow unscathed. He is known as a loyal player. He's known as, a good person. I'm wondering if there's ever a time where people are like, Matt is way more deceitful than he appears.
I mean, at some point, the only way Matt's going down is if they actually start to see him as a threat, and so far they don't at all.
They should, though. He is a comp threat. Like,
not even just comp wise, but just in general.
Well, and I will say, how you said Cam has the 2 out of 3. Matt has 2 out of 3. It's the comp and the social game. Social game is pretty immaculate, in my opinion.
Strategy. We have to see him win a comp.
He won the veto technically tonight.
Yes, that's true.
But like, I do think he has more qualities that portray a winner than Cam, and I do think he can get there. I actually think that this could be bad for him, this new alliance, because he did flip to the other side. He's wanting to be the one that stays, even though he's in on the plan. He wants to make it a 5-4, and everyone's like, no. Like, you're coming down with us. Like, what are you doing? But he's smart enough to realize, like, he's already in a great spot beforehand. This is a little... he's only doing it because a lot of his friends are on the other side. And he was heartbroken by Ciries having all these other alliances that he's been aware of, like he's just now aware of. So, I don't know. I think this could benefit him and make him a little more dangerous.
I do think it's going to make it a little harder for him, even though I still think he'll be in a good spot.
I think he's capable.
Yeah, me too.
Which is so surprising because he seemed really bad in the beginning. I don't know if you remember the first 2 weeks.
He was obsessed with Riley.
Yeah, but like, why did Riley leaving get him so?
He had no other distraction.
He's that much of a genius without a girl.
I mean, look at Corey's game once he started dry humping for the first time in his life. Oh, his fucking.
It's kind of insane. What's really crazy is like, I found love on a game. I don't remember. I don't think I've never kind of like used that and like just went off the rails. I stayed as strong as ever. Just saying. But
maybe it's because you weren't together though, right? It wasn't in person.
No, but I was definitely. Oh yeah, you're right. But I was like spending all my time with that person, like on call.
If you were grinding on the person, maybe it would be different.
Vocally.
How about Jag?
Jag went from like a -1 gameplay to like a 1 or 2. Like he's climbing up there. Today watching him on the live feeds, I was like, why does he sound like a winner? Like he sounds like he could win when in reality, like 40 days before, like the full 40 days prior, he was just doing so bad.
I hope he finally learned something because I've been so tired watching him the last 2 weeks.
It's crazy because I really did think he had like the social like game and the strategy to do it. And then once that onion structure fell apart, like he fell apart and like his strategy was so trash. He trusts the wrong people. He doesn't know how to pivot. And so I feel like this new alliance benefits him a lot because that's how he plays, is to really trust in an alliance. And if that alliance is in power, then he's great. So he could go far somehow in this game. And this is how bad this cast is that someone like Jag, who I love him as a person, but as a player, it's just abysmal. And he could get very far because of this alliance if it stays strong. But I just don't think he's not that great at maneuvering. And I think Matt is actually the player that I thought Jag would be. So
yeah, I agree with that. Blue is next too.
Blue is also delusional. Delulu is not the Salulu. She had like one moment of maybe a few weeks ago where she's like, Ciries behind this, like, oh whatever. Like she had a moment of revelation where I was like, oh, maybe she's waking up, and then she went right back. And so like now I'm just like, I almost rather her go instead of Jared, but I do want Jared going first out of the 3. But
I feel like she had some progress this week, but I don't know after today if it's going to really matter.
She had progress. Like she was almost a lock for like final five with like Izzy, Ciries, like everyone will want to take her first. But now I still see that possibly, but no one trusts her because of how much she leaks to Jared. So if Jared goes, then there might be a chance that Blue also wakes up from like her love
Maybe.
for a man.
I need Blue to win the walk comp this week. Actually, that's what I want.
Do
So at
you?
least maybe she will finally be able to. I mean, she's just gonna work for Jared, but I'm still okay with that. I need to see something out of her. That
I am
isn't.
not okay with that.
I'm
No,
okay
I need
with
to see Jared gone and then Blue win. I want to see what she does after that. That's chaotic to me.
Well, Jared and Suri are next, and what I want to happen, I know I want Suri to go next out of spite. Once again, I'm so annoyed that Izzy is going that if I have to suffer watching the feeds without Izzy, everybody else has to suffer the feeds with Jared for several more weeks.
Ew! No, 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 no,
Yes,
no.
yes,
No. Well,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Well, I think Cerise still has what it takes to like flip the house all the time. So I want to see her farther because Jared, oh my god. Like Jared has been in such a great position this whole game. Sometimes it's his doing, sometimes it's not. Um I think Corey is correct. He does have two personalities. If he's really irritated, he's a really bad player. If he is comfortable, he does really well, making everyone else feel comfortable with him. So there's been really positive weeks and there's been really negative weeks, and I've always thought like he's another contender to also. I think he and Matt were my two picks to like win after a few weeks have passed. Um, so I kind of do want to see him go and see what happens. I want to see him be the first person in jury and suffer that way.
I mean, I would like to see Suri play without both Izzy and Jared, honestly, because I think she'd actually do
Yes.
better. But
Yes.
still, I don't know. We'll see. I just don't see if Jared and Suri are on the block together. I don't see Suri fighting hard to stay.
No, but I feel like it's not even up to her. I think the more she fights, unless she's the one who says I'm his mother, that it wouldn't help him either. So I think she would keep that secret and still try to help Jared. But then because she's helping Jared, everyone's like, no, get Jared out of here. Like he's literally so integral to everyone. Um, so I think Jared goes before Suri, and I do want to see Suri play without Izzy and Jared and get to the end and still be the great social player that she is, because she is a very great social player despite strategy being a little wonky, competitions being completely irrelevant to her game. She is still lapping around some of these people. She has webs upon webs. I want to see how she does without Izzy and Jared, and I want people to stop saying that it's because of Izzy and Jared that the three of them are in this top position. It's not true. If you had me and
People
my
say
mom,
that.
people, I think people overestimate Ciries, who are not Ciries fans. They overestimate her because they're like, oh, you have someone who knows a secret, who is a
Oh,
big
I see what
fan,
you mean.
and is a son, right? That's why you three are on the top. No, if I had a best friend and my mom in this game with me, that does not guarantee us as the top dogs of the entire game. It never means that. I mean, yes,
Well,
you have
especially if your mom talks too much or your son talks too much,
right.
way too fucking much.
She has both children who are chaotic as hell in their own ways, and
They both are responsible for this week, like we said in the beginning.
yeah,
Jared
and she is
said way too
still
much, and
here.
Izzy
Think about it.
today. Suri warned Izzy to not tell Corey too much about America, and she went and did it. Just
And she's still
dumb.
doing it today. Like she's still doing it as of now. And think about it. Right now, Jared is the number one target after Izzy goes, and Ciries is still not the main target. Somehow, like Cam wanting to take out Ciries people doesn't put up Ciries. Like all of these things, Ciries has a part in the reasons why she's not going home this week. Every single week, she's always doing it, and I think people really still overestimate it. And I would like to see it. I would like to see Jared go as well and see what she does. I truly believe she still goes farther than just one more week or whatever. I do think there's a possibility of her maneuvering and pivoting like she always does. So I want to see it.
Yeah, I never bought into the conspiracy theory that it's rigged for Suri and Jared, but I did. I don't know if I ever said it on YouTube, but I said it on Twitter a lot. I think CBS definitely wants Ciries around until Survivor starts, which is still a
Oh,
couple weeks away.
absolutely. Oh,
Cross
CBS
promotion.
would love like a Survivor riding that wave. I mean, Survivor's fine on its own, but yeah, no, I agree with that. I don't think they've rigged it necessarily. I think that even if they did try rigging it, Jared and Izzy has done their fair share of like making it super hard for her to succeed. And yeah, here we are. I mean, she's a lock in for jury. I don't know if you saw Red's like interview where he's like, "Oh,
Oh my
you should have
god.
known about Ciries."
Red was Ciries' #1 fan.
Literally, and that's what I'm trying to tell everyone. Like, that's how strong Ciries is as a player. That Red now with all this clarity is like, yes, we obviously should have went after her, but you didn't at all. Not even a thought in your mind did it cross for you to get rid of Ciries when Cam wanted it. So it's very interesting to see her do that. Like, I wonder. I picture myself in that house. I'm like, would I ever actually trust Ciries? Like, what? Like I
I
just can't
would
see
probably,
it.
unfortunately.
You said what?
I said I would probably, unfortunately.
No, I would not. I'd be too paranoid. No.
Any final thoughts?
I think this does blow the game wide open. As much as I love seeing Ciries succeed, I really enjoy when power dynamics change. So I want to see how this goes. I want to see if American Corey burn this to the ground really quickly. Um, my guess is no, but there's a really big possibility that happens, or at least someone makes this entire thing go down the toilet. I want to see what happens next week. Like tomorrow is very exciting.
I just wish it wasn't Izzy because
Yes.
now I have to root for Cameron out of spite. Now I have to hope Jared's around for 7 more weeks so everybody else can suffer with
Disgusting.
me. Okay, so
No.
that's what I want.
No. You're crazy. You're a menace.